Jim Davison has been a part of radio in Bangkok for decades, and his personal history as an entertainer goes back way beyond that, because Jim is quite possibly the oldest working radio broadcaster in the world.
I'm your host, Jim Davison, and I'll be hanging around until midnight, so if you have time to spare tonight, I'd like to have your company.
Are you old enough to remember when radio was introduced as a form of entertainment around the world?
I can remember when the first crystal set was put on the market, and I took a great liking to the crystal sets, and I made them for all my friends. That was in the late 1920s, and everybody had a crystal set, and it was marvellous. The reproduction, there was no amplification, no power of any description. It was pure sound. Of course, you had to use the headset, but I made a set that would work on a loudspeaker. Not to any degree, those little speakers that had a kind of a horn, you could hear it. But that to me was an achievement.
So your love of radio goes right back to the earliest days then, doesn't it?
Yes. Then the war came along, and I served with the American Merchant Navy until the war came to an end. Then I became an elevator boy in New York. A little bit long in the tooth to be an elevator boy, but that was fun. And I enjoyed being in the big city, a city like New York, and I have fond memories. And
but they didn't have elevator music in those days, did they?
Thank goodness, no. No, they didn't. No.
So back into radio after that?
Then I went to West Africa, and I was airport traffic supervisor for Pan American Airways. And during that time, they had a landline which supplied music to all the old hands in Africa around the coast. And that occupied my time in the evening between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock, because everybody went to bed at 10 o'clock because they got up early to avoid the heat. So that was pleasant, but it kept me in touch with the entertainment field.
What brought you to Thailand, and when was that?
Well, I was in Hong Kong, and that wasn't too far away. And I worked hard and didn't make too much money. Worked in television and also worked in radio. But I found that by working double shifts, I had enough to pay the rent and a few other things, and I thought, well. And a friend of mine, Sam Scott, I don't know whether you remember him, he had the Yard of Ale pub on Convent Road. And he said, why don't you come to Bangkok? There's lots of possibilities here. There's no English language radio as far as I can see. They've got television and all kinds of things, and just come. So I came, and I had $50 in my pocket. So I sent a proposal in to start the Early Bird show. They liked the proposal. And
you've certainly taken a shine to Bangkok, though, and
well, the pay was
life
good
in the city.
I was the highest paid radio person in the whole country within 3 months after arriving here. And that continued on for the best part of a decade.
How long ago was that?
I came here in 1965.
And it's been home ever since, I gather.
Yes. Thailand has been very kind to me. I have a lot of friends here. They've helped me considerably. They've given me advice. And I can't say one unkind word. I'm very sorry to see a lot of the customs and lovely things gradually disappear. But that's, I suppose, the price we pay for progress.
Yes.
There was 1 million people when I came here. Pat Pong was a few bars and a lot of airline offices, and Pattaya had one hotel, a Nepal Lodge. If you couldn't get in, you came back home. And the water was, those were the days when the air was clean and sex was dirty. Now it's the other way around.
Jim Davison's program on Bangkok's Breeze FM has been a Sunday night feature for some 14 years, and he has sponsors that have stayed the whole distance. A traveller, a man of many interests, Jim's love of music still comes first.
Oh!
All right.
Oh,
Very good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bit of barroom piano there, Jim. Or high My cocktail piano.
Oh, sometimes.
It's nice to find you at home still with your music, but this time you're playing it.
June, I tell you, June has struggled for years to get me to do it the right way.
So he's your illustrious
we
piano
have two
teacher,
different styles, you know. Maybe I'm too long in the tooth to change my style. I don't know.
So what is your style, do you think, at the piano?
A little less complicated than June, but I like June's style better.
So he comes on a weekly basis to give you a few
every
notes,
Thursday. He's here at 12 o'clock and goes at 5 o'clock, and then he goes to his job at 6 o'clock in the Chin Chin Hotel.
Did you ever nearly become a pianist rather than a radio announcer?
Yes, I did. Even when I was small, I wanted to play the piano in a nightclub or in some entertainment venue. And the nearest I got to it was the Regent's Palace Hotel in London. The pianist never turned up. And the manager said, we got a cocktail party and I've got nobody to play. Well, I said, if you don't mind a 10th grade pianist, I'll try. So they offered me a job.
Well, this is how great careers sometimes start.
Well, when you go with it. The cocktail lounge is
beautiful. So Jim, back to your radio career, where you get to play great performances of lovely melodies like those you've been playing here. Do you think you might be the oldest radio announcer in the world?
I think so. I was the oldest one 4 years ago, so I think things have even become better since then. Another 4 years has passed since the Guinness Book of Records.
Have you heard of other broadcasters working well into their 90s?
Alistair Cook was brought up as the BBC's candidate, and he said, I don't want to be a disc spinner, I'm a broadcaster. He said, I'm not in that category at all. So the BBC called me, or they wrote to me and said that he was off the list. And
would you mind stepping in?
Well, Alistair's gone now, of course, and I think he was 96.
Yeah, so you actually have a little way to go.
Yes, a couple of years ago, yes.
You're a great one for looking ahead, though, aren't you? You don't seem to look back, even though you have great memories.
I do look back. Actually, I've been looking back more lately because of the loss of old friends. Lost 4 this year, or last year and this year. And it seems so incredible that the people who were always there that you wrote to and you kept in contact with, you didn't associate too much because you were not with them, but they were always there. And as you get older, there's none of the presence that you have when you're young. All the things that you grew up with, they're still there when you're 40 and 50. But when you get to 70, 80 and 90, all the things are gradually gone. And it's like going to a fairground and everyone's gone home. That's the feeling that I have sometimes.
So Jim, a lot of people are going to want to know, how have you done this? You know, got to a good old age in such great shape?
Well, I always believe that exercise will kill you. And I've never done any exercise. I walk a lot, and when I was young I walked and walked and walked, and I still do a lot of walking. I have no car. I'm a great believer in alternative medicine, a great believer in chelation. It's a very rejuvenating thing that they inject into your EDTA and those kind of things, high colonic irrigation, detox, and 20 pills a day.
You do all of this?
Oh, I've been doing it for 20 or 30 years. And I spoke to a doctor once, and he said, when you get to 60, 40% of your capacity for the body to manipulate has gone. If you make up for that 40%, you'll stay where you are. So I believe that.
And play a few good songs to keep you sort of smiling as well?
Well, it's money that makes me smile, more than the songs.
To view more of my videos or to contact me about perhaps participating in your projects, please visit rodmcneil.tv.